Picture this. You're 27, you're dating someone, and it's getting serious. They're sweet, they're pretty caring, and you have a lot of fun together. Before you can really take the next step, you feel it's a good time to meet each other's families. You head to your significant other's home and are feeling a little nervous. You want to make a good impression, right? You want their mom to like you and definitely their opinionated sister. You arrive, everyone greets each other, and everything seems like it's off to a great start. As the night progresses, you notice that the person you're dating doesn't get up to help their family clean up the dishes. Later in the night, you hear them bickering with their mom, and to finish the visit off, they end up fighting with their sister, including some pretty low blows. You leave thinking,
That was weird. They've always been so sweet to me. What was that?
well, you just got an inside scoop into their relational world. And sorry to be the bearer of bad news, that will be your relationship soon. You will learn that people's dating relationships are not different from their other relationships. I'm gonna say that again. They are not different from their other relationships. They may start that way, but it won't last. Let's be honest, we all try to fake it to impress someone new until we can't. Our true selves will always come back at some point. Good behavior will only last if it is your true behavior. Healthy relationships start with a healthy relational world. We can build a healthy relational world by having a personal relationship with God and then learning what He had planned for our relationships with one another. Your dating life and your family relationships reflect on your personal walk with the Lord. The most important relationship in our lives as Christians should be with God, walking in faith with Him. Through knowing God, we're able to have better relationships with those around us. It makes sense if you think about it, the fact that we could fix our relational world by experiencing the blessing of the one perfect relationship. Yep, our relationship with God. We were designed by Him to know Him. Scripture tells us in different ways that we are known by God. Jeremiah 12:3, but you, O Lord, know me. You see me and test my heart toward you. John 27, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. 1 Corinthians 13:12, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. You see me, I know them, fully known. When we know God, we know what relationships are supposed to be. We experience His unconditional love and learn that relationships are meant to be loving. We experience His endless forgiveness and learn that relationships are supposed to be forgiving. We experience His deep knowledge of who we are and learn that relationships are supposed to get us and seek to understand. We experience His peace-filled comfort and learn that relationships should feel safe. We experience His constant presence and learn that relationships should feel close and not distant. See? It's the beautiful blueprint that we get to experience the blessing of and learn from. When we have our relationship with God as our foundation, we're no longer left wanting relationally. Let me say that again. When we have our relationship with God as our foundation, we're no longer left wanting relationally. We do not seek relationships from a point of scarcity, but from a point of overflow. This is the reason it's important to find yourself with God before you hard launch into any other relationships, especially dating relationships. Speaking of other relationships, God is the creator of our relationships with others. He designed them so that we would not be alone. In Genesis 2, He creates a partner for Adam, the first human to ever exist, because He said, it's not good for man to be alone. In the beginning, when God was creating fish, animals, and our world in its intended state and its perfect state, He knew the preferred way to create people was together. All of His creations come with a purpose, with an instruction manual that explains how they're meant to exist and to flourish. Relationships are no different. We see in Scripture that God calls us to, number one, love one another in our relationships. John 13, verses 34 through 35 says, so now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. The next instruction He gives us is to encourage one another. 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, "So encourage each other and build each other up, just as you are already doing." And another instruction he says is to serve one another in our relationships. Galatians 5:13 says, "For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." You can have a healthy dating relationship if you have a healthy relational world. Having a healthy relational world means knowing God and heeding his instructions on relationships. Before you hard launch into dating, assess your relational world. Do your relationships with your friends look like what we just talked about? How about your relationships with your family? Your everyday relational world is the practice ground for your romantic relationships. Emulate God and put into practice the instructions that he has given you. Most importantly, remember, we must first know God to know relationship. As I wrap up, I want to share this quote from an article I read the other day. It says this, it says, "I am graven on the palms of his hands. I'm never out of his mind. All my knowledge of him depends on his sustained initiative in knowing me. I know him because he first knew me and continues to know me. He knows me as a friend, one who loves me, and there is no moment when his eye is off of me or his attention distracted from me, and no moment, therefore, when his care falters." When we experience this relationship, we will not seek relationships from a point of scarcity, but from the point of overflow. We will experience relational health in our friendships, our families, and our dating relationships. Let's talk more about that in our small group time.